How does evil exist? Not why, but how. Evil exists. Why it exists? Well, otherwise we wouldn't have freedom of choice. But how does it exist? Is it there forever? So we have freedom of choice forever? And can we really change the world for good? Right? Pun intended. So, Messianic era, Mashiach, means that everything that is animated by klipa, by the shell that covers over on the good stuff on the inside, the shell of the material world that covers over on God's presence in everything, when it will emerge from that klipa that creates impurity and creates sickness, it creates a disconnect. So when it will be emerged and it becomes now connected to its source, it becomes a veritable chariot. As the chariot is driven by its rider, so likewise the material world will be driven by its maker. Right now when we see a luscious got this from Purim Sameach, cute little clown over here. So we see, that looks enticing, because the shell, the husk that's covering over on what the true reality of this is, that it's animated by God. So when we will then reveal the godliness in the material world, then all flesh, not just Jewish people, but all of humanity, will behold godliness. And the glory of God will be filled in the entire world. And we will see eye to eye, so to speak. The human eye will see the truth of everything. And it will be as we experienced it in a temporary way when the Torah was given at Mount Sinai. As we saw then, the presence of God. We didn't just hear about it. We didn't just, feel it, so to speak. But it was real. We saw it. Not that God was physical, but the experience was so formidable, so real, like seeing. Seeing that there's nothing else besides God. That God showed himself to us. But that happened for a very short time. But in the future, in the times of Mashiach, it will be permanent. How? So we get it that, because we see in our own lives that we can have moments where all negativity is erased from us. We feel so connected. We feel so uplifted. That's why if I bring in yesterday, here, and Rabbi Yossi Paltil from New York, for bringing, for the short time that I was there, was in it for the young people of the Chabad community. So I went to on Vibrant Young. Just felt uplifted in a different world. But then you come back into a reality of this world. So it's all temporary. We get that. Permanent? What do you mean evil's going to be permanently removed? How's that happen? Change the world for good? So because we will ascend all of the materiality of this world, klipas noiga, to holiness, so evil, complete outright evil, which is shalish klipas atzmeis, will be utterly annihilated and nullified. Why? Is because the complete evil of this world only gets its nurture, its nourishment, its vitality, its being from klipas noiga, from that intermediate level of vitality that's got a mixture of good and bad in it, right? Like this wonderful looking Laffy Taffy. Who laughs after? Maybe you laugh when you're eating it, but afterwards, I don't know. I think you feel more like a taffy. A Laffy, right? So when all of the materiality of this world will be elevated. Now, what does it mean all? We'll get into a little more. Right? In other words, it's going to be used for a higher purpose, not just for a debased purpose. So that is klipas. This is klipas noiga. Now it gets elevated. When it gets elevated, then what happens is evil that gets its nourishment from there has no place for vibrancy, has no place for life. It will be completely eradicated because it's the intermediary form of life, the klipas noiga, that mixture, right, that gives vitality to the complete evil. So it'll be banished, impurity, completely. And this is all dependent on us today, that we draw down godliness, meaning the Ein Sof, the limitlessness of God, into the positive commandments that we fulfill, 248 of them, which represents 248 components of our soul, right? That then gives nourishment to the vital soul, the animal soul, that it becomes elevated through the act of the mitzvah that we do, right? When you stretch out your arm to give charity, to light Shabbos candles, to put on your tefillin, right? And all of the, you do that. So now you elevate the materiality of this world and yourself with the body and the animal soul that's engaged in the mitzvah. And you also stay away from the 365 prohibitions, that you don't give vitality into a negative place. So when we do that, and this is incumbent upon the Jewish people, this is their mission. The community of Israel that comprises of 600,000 general souls, branches of a tree. And each branch has thousands, if not up to 600,000 leaves that grow, sparks of a soul that it represents. And each one of those sparks or leaves that grow from the branch, meaning souls that emerge, they all have 1/600,000th part of the entire world that they're responsible spiritually to uplift it, to take their part of their world, the things that they own, and upgrade it, using it for a mitzvah. Now, of course, that's not just the mitzvah object, but everything, the food and the drink and the house that we have and the bedding that we have, that we, and the pillow that we use to go to sleep on, all of that is uplifted because all of that is part and parcel of our life that we're using to do a mitzvah. So when we engage, I'm just 1/600,000th of this branch, which means I have a part of the world that is my world. I have my mug. I have my goodies. And I use it, the goodies, to give me strength. The mug to put some water in there to make a bracha and to enable me to teach better, to pray better, to do better things, more things. What have I done? I've uplifted the things in my life, in my world. Did you ever wonder why today we own so many things? 100 years ago, 200 years ago, people owned 200 items. 200 items. Today we own 20,000 items. 20,000 items. So some of it is no doubt consumerism, exponentially being used in maybe not in a positive way. But the real reason why we own so much is because so much of the material world we have now to engage in, we can uplift it from the klipas nega, that middle ground, and uplift it to use it for a higher purpose, for something meaningful, purposeful, a mitzvah. So everything that's engaged in that will be all that consumerism will now be elevated. That happens, the things in my life I use in that way, I don't give room for evil. I'm drawing away from the evil of this world, not just the evil of me that I have within me, but the general evil of the world. I'm removing that vitality. Because remember, everything in this world is a vitality that comes either from God's holiness when you do a mitzvah, or everything is in a middle ground, klipa, that's covering over on God's holiness. It gives us the opportunity that we could use it for a higher purpose, or we could debase it and use it in a debased manner, right? That's klipas nega. So when we use all of that, it all gets elevated. Evil will not have room, will not have space, will not have a place. And we will change the world for good, no doubt. Because evil doesn't exist forever. Another reason why evil doesn't exist forever is because God exists forever. And God is only but good. So only good can exist forever. A world of good. Mashiach. That we are all working together to bring.